What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, y'all know it's about to go down because we got that round 2 fight. We got issue number 2 of DCKO. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell y'all it's about to go down, trust. It is about to go down because this issue is dope. Now, if you remember the first issue, and I'll go ahead and I'll leave a link at the top of the screen for you to check that one out if you haven't already. And if you haven't, check that one out now and then double back on and come and catch this one. And I'll also leave one at the end of the video too, to the entire DCKO playlist. But when we left off with the first issue, Darkseid had completely taken over. But the heroes decided to find the Heart of Apocalypse to try to battle to become the King Omega, to rewrite Darkseid's new rule and stop him from completely taking over the universe. And when this tournament kicked off, we had a lot of heroes fall, including our main man Batman, who did not make it through the first round. Although his story does continue in DCKO Night Fight. Check out that video too on the channel. But if you guys are ready to find out what makes this issue right here so freaking dope, then ladies and gentlemen, you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So we kicked this issue off in the past from that famous game night from the first issue with Clark and Lois Lane and Diana and Bruce Wayne all just sitting back chilling and having a good time. And this particular scene of that game night, which we didn't see this particular conversation, or I'll say it's more of the conversation. But it starts off with Clark and Bruce talking, and they're talking about the time spent with Mongrel and a gladiator pick, and a particular battle gear that Mongrel had picked out for the guys. And they're having a little fun, joking back and forth about the actual outfits that they were wearing and how they looked, albeit whether it was silly or not, silly or cool. But then a funny question is posed. A question that we're told that Tim actually brought up with Bruce Wayne. Tim Drake, that is. But his suggestion was, what would you be if you couldn't be what you are now? No powers. Can't be at the same job. He suggested that all of these guys guess this for one another for their game night. So these guys so they decide to play this game, and the game is to guess for each other. What do they see each other as if they couldn't be these particular heroes? So the first up is Clark guessing for Diana. And his guess is a tour guide, which surprises the heck out of Diana. But Clark tells her that for national parks or historic sites, showing people the beauty, the humility. And she's like, what? But then Diana turns it around and puts it on Bruce. If you couldn't be Batman, you'd be a doctor. And Bruce Wayne is like, yeah, a bat doctor. But now it's Bruce's turn, and he looks at Clark and he's like, if you couldn't be Superman, you'd be president. And Clark's like, oh, come on, you can't be serious. And Bruce is like, oh, I'm serious. But Clark disagrees with this assessment. He's like, if I couldn't be Superman or a reporter, I'd be, I don't know. But you're way off, Bruce. I don't have that in me. But then we pick up with current day as the tournament is still going on and round 1 is surpassed. As the voice of the Heart of Apocalypse, who is our narrator for this story, begins with, and so begins the next round. This realm before us took 11 billion years to construct, but was carved inside a microscopic white hole, where time moves like light. A blink, and it exists, history and all. For the champions themselves, though, almost no time has passed between rounds. 32 of them made it through the first gauntlet. They have had no rest, no pause for contemplation. For them, there will only be the battle, as it should be. As the voice then welcomes the champions to the second challenge. I speak as the Heart of Apocalypse, your game master, it says to the challengers. To become the King Omega in his new universe, Darkseid had to collect power from his kind, primordial beings, gods. Here, each of you must do the same, but from your own kind, your fellow champions. Hidden throughout this realm are some of the most powerful items in your universe. The Blue Beetle Scarab, the God Killer Sword, the Whirlogog, Adam's Belt, a Mother Box, Psycho Pirate's Medusa Mask, Thor's hammer and Bane's venom. This area is a graveyard of elder gods slain by Darkseid. The items lie in their ruins. When all the items are found, the challenge is over. Whoever is holding an item at that time moves on. Whoever is not, dies. As we see more of the items, a Speed Force ring, power rings, a genie pin, the Claw of Horus, the Soul Taker sword, the Lasso of Truth, the Cosmic Rod, and one mystery item. There are only 16 items hidden here, and 32 of you, the voice continues to speak. By the end of this challenge, half of you will be no more. There are no rules of conduct. Nothing matters but winning. And remember this rule above all. Here, in this arena, if you follow the example of Darkseid, you shall be rewarded. Now let the challenge begin. As all of the heroes and villains take off to go and find these particular trinkets, and they scatter, the voice says. Some can sense which item is where. Hawkman senses the Claw of Horus, Cyborg the Mother Box. Others, like Lex, have come prepared. His suit contains more scanners than the 10 most powerful military satellites combined. Infrared, heat, synthetic aperture radar. Within a single second, he maps the landscape, sees where every item is, and blasts off toward the power rings. But Clark is watching, and if there's one thing Clark is determined to do, it's to make sure Lex Luthor does not win. As he races after Lex, he takes a moment to slow the other villains too. This is why he's here, he tells himself. This is his part, to make sure the villains fail. All of them, but especially Lex Luthor. Meanwhile, at the site of the Atom's Belt, Diana and Etrigan battle. To you that belt shall not pass. This demon spawn will kick your ass. I admit, princess, you fight well, but you are no match for, as she interrupts him, go to hell. I hate rhymes. Wonder Woman is dope. But then behind her, someone else chimes in. Wonder Woman, there's only room for one big girl in this challenge. As she's, I think, what is that? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that Giganta or whatever her name is? I know y'all gonna get at me in the comments. Don't at me though. But then behind her, someone else comes in and interrupts. You call that big? And when she looks up, she sees the Joker, who has taken the Atom Belt. Ta-da! Any last words? And she's like, Joker, what are you doing? We're on the same side here. And Joker's like, all right, I forgot. And then he straight up stomps her, he flattens her. And when I saw that, I just started cutting up laughing out loud. He just splatted her big ass. And now everyone's running like out of the way, and Joker grabs a couple more and just chomps down on them. And you get these dope parental advisories on the... Meanwhile, at the God Killer site, we get Plastic Man and Metamorpho fighting. And as Metamorpho reaches for that sword, he's wrapped up by Plastic Man. And he begs to be let go, but Plastic Man tells him that he prepared for this. And he got him a nice new upgrade. A sheen of polyphenylene sulfide, basically super plastic. Nothing you can make will dissolve it, he tells Metamorpho. Except maybe itself, as Metamorpho flips it on him and turns into the same damn thing. Boiling hot, thanks for the recipe, he tells a burning Plastic Man. Now that God Killer sword. But then he's interrupted by Starro, who wants to claim it for himself. But just as Starro tells Metamorpho that he's too slow, the God Killer sword is snatched up by a racing Silver Age Flash. Meanwhile, nearby, we see Guy Gardner with his eyes on the Flash ring. Come to Papa, he says. I mean, a man can never have too many rings, am I right? But right before he can grab it, bam! He's smashed with Harley Quinn's hammer. And she picks it up like, Ivy will love this. Now, what the heck do you do? And she puts it on and gets the powers of Flash. Harley Quinn with the powers of Flash. That is freaking awesome. Although I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know his ring had power. I thought the ring just held the suit. Y'all get at me and let me know about that. But still dope, I don't care. Elsewhere, we pick back up with the Superman and Lex Luthor fight as Superman takes the fight to Lex and he gives him an uppercut to the sky and then spikes him back down to the ground. But Lex, meanwhile, is like, well, Superman, I'm glad we had this moment because I wanted to thank you. You see, when you put us all in the Phantom Zone, I expected it to be just a cage. But what you've made it, therapeutic. a big old cosmic couch. Beautiful, actually. And as I was floating there, I had an epiphany. And Superman's like, yeah, I'm not interested. But Lex is like, yeah, I figured that. But you know, it's a good moment to be a kryptonite enthusiast. What, with it so much more in common these days, as he opens up his chest plate to reveal a kryptonite core. I've expanded my collection, plenty to choose from. Purple to drain your life force, black to steal your powers, red, pink, so many uses. But what I'm really going to use them for is to get you to listen for once. As he then takes the fight back to Superman. So here's my epiphany, Superman. I always thought I hated you because you did too much. You stopped humanity from realizing our potential by saving us from failure. But I was wrong. I get that now. Because what I really hate you for, if I'm being truly honest with myself, is doing too little. So thank you for bringing me to the Phantom Zone. It was revelatory. I wanted you to feel what I felt, so I brought it to you in the form of a blade. As he pulls out a freaking Phantom Zone blade and slices off Superman's hand. Oh my God. When I arrived here in the heart of Apocalypse, Luthor finishes, it gave me a vision of what the universe could be if I won. Of everything remade in my image. I assume it did this for everyone. So what was yours, Superman? A better reality? Far better? Diseases cured, corrupt governments eradicated, a cultural and technological paradise? Am I right? But let me guess, your response to that vision was to reject it. Your goal even now is to just put everything back in the way it was at the end of this. As the Heart of Apocalypse tells us that in disgust, Lex fires shards of kryptonite into Clark's body. I know you like to listen to heartbeats, Lex continues, so listen now. Do you hear them all up there, full of longing and fear? They want your vision. Maybe they didn't in another time, but they do in this one, because things have changed. The center has fallen apart. Everyone feels it. In this era, people are begging for a hero who will fix the problems, the wars, the death, the misery, the terror of it all. They want you to save them. What the Phantom Zone taught me is that I do too. But you never will. Because deep down you're a coward, Superman. That was my epiphany. Now excuse me while I do what you want and save the damn world. And Lex takes off, leaving Superman behind. Feel free to sit back and watch, he tells them. Meanwhile, we see Guy Gardner flying in for that claw of Horus, but he's actually beat out by Hawkman, who swoops in and steals it. Meanwhile, we see Cyborg by himself and he's captured the Mother Box. While at the Soul Taker sword, there's a fight between Etrigan and Swamp Thing and Big Barda as they all fight for it, but no one sees Lobo in the background running by himself as he runs for the Bane's Venom. Look at this, I just found my own golden ticket, Venom. But as he grabs it, he catches a sneak attack from Starro. And they fight over it for a little bit, but Lobo manages to put on the belt and activates it, getting himself all juiced up like Bane, and he just rips Starro apart. Off the main man. And then he's like, sorry, brother. Some gotta win, some gotta be you. But while Starro's on the ground, he reminds Lobo of a fact that he forgot. He's like, another fact about Starfish, as Lobo realizes, he's like, frag me, is that we regenerate, bastards. And then you see more Starros. We regenerate, bastards. We regenerate, bastards. But then Starro uses all of those copies of himself and takes over the heroes. He calls them the Starro League. And all at once, Starro uses his new hosts to grab for any items he can, the voice tells us. He goes for Supergirl, who holds the Psycho Pirate's mask, and Aquaman, who has the Cosmic Rod. Other hosts he sends to stop the champions from finding items altogether. Flash he sends to prevent Black Lightning from discovering the Wollagog. Wonder Woman he sends to take down Zatanna before she can find Thor's hammer. But this doesn't last for long, as when Wonder Woman goes after Zatanna, Zatanna convinces Wonder Woman to reach down at her side because right at her feet is Thor's hammer. And Wonder Woman grabs that hammer and unleashes all of the power of it onto Starro, releasing him from all of his hosts. While nearby, we see Guy Gardner again going after another charm as he sees the Blue Beetle Scarab. But it's not going to be that easy, as he's intercepted by Jason Todd, who beats him to the Blue Beetle Scarab. and activates, creating the Red Beetle Armory. And now Jason Todd uses his new armory to go after the Joker. Hey Joker, how's this for a punchline? And he starts to blast at the Joker, but he's not the only one that wants the Joker. As now a Flash-powered Harley Quinn comes running in. No way, I call dibs! Meanwhile, a giant Joker is looking down like, man, I love when they fight over me. But then he disappears. Damn it! Where the hell did he go, they wonder. But then it's quickly found out when all of a sudden Big Barda starts having the worst headache known to man, as we see that the Joker shrunk himself down and now he is wrecking her mind, destroying her from the inside. As the Heart of Apocalypse then continues, as the moments pass, more and more items are claimed, until only a few remain, like the Thunder Pin, as we see King Shark going after that along with Vixen. But King Shark's like, not so fast, Vixen, that baby is mine. I'm a great white. Channel whatever you want. I'm the top of the pyramid, the toughest fish in the ocean. But Vixen is like, oh yeah? But see, I can channel the power of anything on Earth, including Dinosaur Island, where there are way bigger fish than you, and she chomps down on King Shark. But she's too late as she looks back for that thunder pin that they were after, and it's already been taken. Could it be a demon and genie team up, I foresee? As the demon Etrigan got it, leaving Zatanna to try to rally the team together, all of the heroes, to try and get all of the last few items before the Legion of Doom does. But then we pick up with Lex Luthor as he goes for those power rings. But then he's stopped by Star Sapphire, I believe that is, and she hits him with a construct of the entire Fortress of Solitude. That's payback for what you did to Superman. And then she goes to collect her prize, all of those power rings, and score one for love, she says, as she puts on the rings. But she pulls her hands away from the hydraulic claw cable just in time, as Luthor tried to reach out for her. And she's like, nice try, Luthor, but I still have all the power rings. But Luthor tells her, I did manage to snatch one, the only one I was truly after. But she's like, keep it. What good is the black power ring when there are no dead here to control? But remember where they are. And Luthor's like, you sure about that? And he activates that power ring, because this is basically like a dead celestial burial ground, basically. So she's screwed. But across the island, Clark senses the game coming to a close. They all do. He tries to stand, but the kryptonite shards Lex fired into his body won't let him. Meanwhile, his cousin Supergirl shows up carrying the Psycho Pirate's mask. Cal, here, take the mask. I'll get something else. But that doesn't work, as Captain Atom blasts her. Thanks, I'll be taking that. And the Heart of Apocalypse continues. But before he can even call Captain Atom's name, he feels it. Talking about Clark, a rumbling, and he just knows Lex has won. One by one, Lex uses the Elder Gods to take them out. The heroes, Clark's friends, and all the while, Lex never takes his eyes off him. But then we pick back up with that game night in the past before all of this started. As Lois Lane asks Clark, well, Clark, what's your answer? Choose. What would you be if you couldn't be what you are now? And Clark's like, well, I don't know, a fireman? And Bruce Wayne's like, stop it. And Clark's like, well, I wouldn't be a politician, Bruce. It's never crossed my mind. And Bruce is like, well, because you have him, Superman. And Clark's like, well, what's your point, Bruce? My point is, you always look to do the most good possible. That's who you are. You're a strategist, same as me and Diana, but in your own way. And right now, your math works. And Clark's like, well, thanks. Can I have my Superman now with his game piece? But Bruce is like, no, because things change, Clark. That's what games like this are about. Figuring out a new math if one is needed to succeed. And now the girls are together like, oh, here I thought we were just talking about relaxing. But it's a serious topic that Bruce Wayne is hitting them with. And Clark's like, seriously, Bruce, we're supposed to be having fun here. What's your issue? You know what? You're right, Bruce tells him. Here, Clark, here's your little Superman back. And then we pick back up with the current day in the game. It's over, Superman, Lex shouts out to him. And the voice of the Heart of Apocalypse continues. His hand throbs. His body is one long scream. He tries, though. He tries to figure out some new math, some way. And then suddenly, the rules come back to him. Follow the example of Darkseid and you shall be rewarded. The example of Darkseid, who sacrificed not just his hand, but his light to become something more. Clark thinks of the mystery item, one of the only things left unclaimed, and he grabs the kryptonite shard in his shoulder. And just before Lex brings the Elder God's foot down in his body, crushing it, Clark ends Superman. Who's the real Superman now, old friend? Lex Luthor chimes in. I am Luthor. The Superman gets up and chimes, and Lex is like, no, I'm Superman, and Superman is. See, the mystery item that Superman found was the Omega Sanction, the power of Darkseid himself, and Superman has the freaking Omega beams. Oh, this is insane. He decimates the Elder Gods just as Darkseid did eons ago, and it feels good. He will stop them all. Luthor, Joker. No, I had you beat, says Lex Luthor. You lose, Luthor. But before Clark can fire, gotcha. We see Guy Gardner finally got the last trinket. And the voice chimes in, champions, all items have been claimed. The challenge is now over. Those of you without items are eliminated. Those of you with items in your possession, congratulations. You move on. As Lex looks over at Superman, saved by the bell. See you next round, Superman. And there you have it. The surviving 16 champions moving on to the next level. They can all feel their closeness to victory. They have the taste for it now. For the fight, the competition. But the game isn't only being played here. As we pick up at the Watchtower, it's being played outside the tournament as well. And here we got Time Trapper, and we also got Booster Gold. And if you remember in part 1, that revelation between Booster Gold, he's a sleeper agent, or he's Darkseid or something like that, or he's been turned, or yeah, he's basically Darkseid at this point. So we pick up with him and Time Trapper talking, and Time Trapper's like, well, the fire pits burn bright with Omega energy as our champions get closer to the center. Soon we may have a new King Omega. There's hope. We just have to continue to hold the time barrier against Darkseid. But then Booster Gold replies, yes, unless we don't. And Time Trapper's like, what do you mean, Booster? And Booster replies, oh, Time Trapper, you spent too much time with the Kryptonian. You've become soft in your old age. There's no need for a new King Omega. We already have ours. Me, Darkseid. And it's time I enter the arena. As he grabs Time Trapper's nose and crunches it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. Damn, y'all, that was fire. I hope y'all like this as much as I did, because I'm hyped right now. Y'all know I want to hear all your thoughts and theories, but first and foremost, what did you think of the issue? How hyped are you for this DC KO series? Is this not one of the sickest things DC has done? Y'all let me know in the comments. And what did you think about that Superman reveal getting the powers of Darkseid, those Omega beams? I think the best thing I saw though was Joker getting the Atom Belt. That's sick. A sick twisted mind like Joker's does not need that type of power. But y'all know I want to hear all y'all thoughts and theories. How did you like this issue? And who do you see coming out on top in this tournament? I'm not gonna lie, when it first began, I thought that it couldn't be Superman because he's just too good to be bad. But now I completely changed that thought process, because Superman seems to be going through the exact trials that Darkseid did, especially having his hand cut off and now having the Omega beams. I'm kind of leaning towards Superman taking this thing. But what do you guys think? And who do you want to see win? I want to hear all your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. And please, 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 you can do your boy a solid and help this channel out by dropping a like, sharing this video, and subscribing to Comics Icons for the biggest icons in the comic book world. And you can also do a huge solid by hitting that hype button and putting this video in front of all of YouTube. Let's run it up, y'all. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out.